Okay, do you not love these? I love these. I found these. Okay, so this house is owned by people with children, small children. And when I got here, there was a high chair in the kitchen, a little table with 2 little chairs, and in the drawer beside the nightstand where I was going to put my vibrator and all sorts of other adult toys, there were all these other toys, all these other little toys, like these. And so I'm like, this kind of ruins the mood a little bit for me. So clean those out to another area of the house. And but I'm like, I really like these glasses. I think I need to wear them. So, oh my God, it's wonderful to be able to embrace, I guess we'll call it the nomad lifestyle. I'm also taking, you know how I coach, and I get coached as well. So in another program that I'm in with John Wineland and Kendra Kunov, I was speaking with a lot of the participants, and I sort of had this presupposition that, I'm the only one, I'm the weird one, I'm the only one that doesn't have a house and blah, blah, blah. There's still more of that self-flagellation, that self-shame and beating myself up, and rather than just like embracing what's so, is that I'm light on my feet and my stuff is still in a pod. It had a brief 10-month run, and then it's back in the pod, and back in the bowl. Oh, do you remember like the Steve Martin movie, All of Me, Back in the Bowl? One of my beloved clients, Heidi, she just loves that one too, and we forced the family to watch it over the Thanksgiving break, Back in the Bowl. But anyways, all my things are back in the pod. So anyways, I'm at that course, and I realized that, oh my God, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who are nomads. In fact, one gentleman was there with his dog, and he has that big, like, cool-ass Sprinter van. So, again, not to judge the changes that life puts us through. And as you move into part 2 of this wonderful episode with David Meltzer, we dive into the gifts of him losing everything. And a few years ago, I lost everything. And the gifts of starting from scratch and not letting the ego run the way, or what people expect run the way, or what you should do run the way, or what your brain says will make sense, or even what your friends say makes sense. But to really listen to what you know is your gift to give. What you know delights you. Why on earth would the divine give us joy if it wasn't meant to be given to others? Why would we be given these incredible experiences of fulfillment and bliss, and if we weren't meant to give that to another? It doesn't make any logical sense to me. And so as I have had the blessing, and I chose this blessing, but had the blessing of slowing down on sabbatical. And I want to also remind you, when I slow down, this is how I do it. I do it with my magic mind. I just don't want to forget that before we move into this part 2 of my episode with David. When I slow down, especially every morning, this is how I do it. This is not how they say to do it, but Magic Mind is this incredible mental performance shot with 12 magical ingredients. I like to add even more. I like to add my cinnamon and my ginger. These days, I'm even adding some of my collagen and creatine and my hot water. It's another sort of witch's brew that I drink, and it just helps me connect in to my heart, to my soul, about what really matters every morning. And it also creates a ritual so that I don't bypass that and get all busy and get right on my phone and answer emails and forget to tap in to what really matters. So what you're going to love, so let me get you some of this. magicmind.com/intimate conversations. And then if you use the code intimate conversations 20, they are so generous, they'll give you 20% off a one-time or a subscription. So what I love about David is that he too slows down in his way. I don't know if he drinks Magic Mind. I should make sure he tries some, to listen to what really matters. And when he had his experience of losing it all, oh, and he got to listen to what happened with him and his mom when he did that. I know if my mom was still alive, she would have done the same thing. I'm so grateful that we both share moms who see us and believe in us, even when we forget, even when we don't. And so the beautiful truth, the deeper truth, Yeah, the more integrated truth, the turning a shadow into a superpower truth that David discovered when all of that fell away, has made him even more successful. But that wasn't the goal, that was the byproduct. It made him even more heart-centered, even more alive to be a contribution, even more authentically connected, even more generous, even more grateful. He led with his soul. And look at the success in his life and the depth of his relationship with himself, with the divine, with his family, with us. We're so lucky to have him. So here we go into part 2 of the podcast with David Meltzer. Welcome to Intimate Conversations. Become the one. Intimacy is an inside job. Yeah, exactly. When you bring this into, so for me, I was spinning a million miles in my head, and I would let myself come down to my heart, and I could keep my heart open. And it was almost like a bravery, like a courage. Like, I'm not going down. And I'm a good person, and I'm here to make a difference. But I still was like numb in my hips. There was still the trauma in there, and I didn't have that sense of like grounded, centered, soulful, like, that pre-thought, that that knowing. This thinks all day long, but that down in my hips, it knows. As you've been doing this personal work with healing from the abuse, how has it affected your entrepreneurial world? I'm very curious, because to me, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah. You talked about, denial. Um, so there's a difference in the way that I do things. And one of the defining moments that I've been blessed with is I lost everything in my 30s,
Mm.
which I learned more from as an entrepreneur than any other event as an entrepreneur.
I waited till
Uh,
my 50s, so you're ahead of me.
Yeah, but it allowed me to shift a paradigm that I think is reflective of what you're suggesting, which is ease.
Mm.
Um, and so I didn't have faith. So mine philosophy as an entrepreneur was relative to those incidences in my life that I would work through everything. I was in control.
Right. Yeah.
And I still, I genetically inherited obsessive compulsive behavior. My dad smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day, was a compulsive gambler.
Wow.
I personally became a cleaner. So, meaning that everything in my life was in order
Yeah.
around me because everything was chaotic
Yeah.
inside of me.
Yeah. Get that.
Now it's transformed into time. And so I have to be very aware not to obsess on time.
Now you're just a mess around the house too, right? No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
that the house is easy. But I want to be so productive, but it's the ease and dis-ease that's changed the most, meaning that I went from trying to get more all the time to
Mm.
prove who I was instead of I am. So I best can articulate it in I used to say I want more money, more happiness, more health, and more wealth and more worthiness in my life. And I
Yeah.
am willing to do whatever it takes, no matter
Yeah.
what. I will not quit, no matter what you can laugh at me, scoff at me, make fun of me. You'll never stop me. To I am
Yeah.
happy. I am healthy. I am
Yes.
wealthy. I am
Mm.
worthy. I just got to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it today.
Mm.
And that progress will aggregate, accelerate, and compound exponentially to where I want to be or better. I think the best statement, which I stated earlier, was wisdom and faith were the two things that I seek now to
Mm.
shorten the distance of resistance that I create between who I am and what I
Mm.
want people to think I am.
Mm.
And that energy suck is especially contributed to social media. Uh, I want people, I am, not this is what I want people to think I am. And I
Right.
lived way too many years, even before social media,
Yeah.
in this realm.
Yeah.
And I have shortened this distance of
Mm.
resistance through wisdom, asking for help and reading and all the meditation and all the training and skills and knowledge, but also just faith that there's something bigger than me that loves me more than my mom.
Mm. Oh, so adorable. I love this. the so we could start, like, let's say we're just a victim, we're sitting on the couch blaming everyone, being entitled, and then I agree that next step is like, I'm gonna do it and I'm never gonna stop, and my adrenals are burnt out and I don't care, right? We're just gonna keep going, to this beautiful, like, I amness. I love this. For me, that tip had a lot to do with humility, and that I was no longer miswired outside in, but inside out. Not, I'm enough if you like me, you approve of me, or if my environment is safe, or there's a bank account is big and the butt is small, or whatever I needed it to be, right? And for me, that is a piece of humility where I just go, okay, God, divine universe, I'll live your dream. I have my inspirations, I have my choices, but ultimately I give it over. I'll keep going, putting one foot in front of the other. But if you have another plan, so be it. Like, I trust. Like, to me, that's my version of faith. How has your literal intimate relationship with the divine shifted as you've moved into I am? Because I am single, but I don't feel lonely. I don't feel alone. I feel like my lover is the divine. I feel, I question sometimes. I'm like, well, that's a curious thing you just did there. Okay, fine. I trust you. Right. Like, I'll spar, but I feel held. I feel grateful and blessed. I haven't spoken to my son in 4.5 years, lives with his dad. Um, so I just keep putting one foot in front of the other. It's not like life is perfect. I'm single. Um, and I do feel so safe on the inside, held on the inside, enough on the inside, and free to be a hot mess and not apologize for it. And also free to really own what I'm masterful at, like both sides. So that's my relationship where it stands today with the divine. How has that shifted for you, your intimate relationship with the divine?
Well, I went from saying I hate my mom, my dad, my best friend, and my wife, and loving everyone else because they told me how great I was. And
Um,
the only four people that were trying to save me were my mom, my dad, my best friend, and my wife. And I ended up bankrupt at the door of my mom's house.
mm,
Uh, the only reason I wanted to be rich was to buy her house.
mm.
I identified you. You laughed about having a big bank account and a small butt. I've always had a small butt, but I also had a big bank account. And no matter what, if it went up, I had over $100 million. And if I,
Holy shit.
I lost it all. But
Wow.
if my bank account went up $100, with
Mm,
all that money, I was
mm.
happy. If it went down $100, my identity was so closely tied. I was sad. And
Yep,
so
yep.
I ended up at my mom's door, not only to tell her I lost over $100 million, but I had lost her home because my
Yeah.
name was on her title.
Mm.
And I told my mom at that day, this is 18 years ago, I
Wow.
said, Mom, I'm bankrupt. And unfortunately, you're going to have to move. I was crying, of course, when I told
Mm.
her. And she said, Are you okay? I
Oh,
said, Mom, I don't think you heard me. I lost everything, including your house. You need to move. She said, I heard you. Are you okay? Do you need some money? I said,
oh,
Mom, I said, I don't know why this happened. Why? Why am I being punished?
yeah.
I said, to be honest, Mom, my mom's pretty religious. I said, I don't believe in God. Why would he do this to me?
Right.
She said, Oh, son, you
Mm.
believe in God. You just believe in the wrong God. And when you said it's so interesting, because my life uh, is amazing. I have four healthy, beautiful children. I have an amazing mom and wife and community
Yeah.
who loves me
Yes.
because I know they love me because they tell me the truth.
Yes.
They tell me, "Hey, you got some work to do, bro." And it's interesting because I have been on a journey to be loved by God
Mm.
more every year, and the love that I'm experiencing outside is only because I feel it for the first time inside.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I feel it all the time.
Yeah.
I have a need to be offended is a quantum uh, interference of mine. I have a need to be offended. So
Mm.
sometimes if I'm not invited somewhere or
Ah,
somebody says something, even though it's silly. One of the funniest ones, and I know we have a few minutes, but I gotta tell you this.
Okay.
I have a very big social following, and somebody one time said, "You stole gratitude from Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, who's a friend of mine."
Yeah.
I don't even know why that would offend me, but my initial reaction was to respond
Yeah.
as I had a need to be offended so bad when it'd be impossible for me to steal gratitude from anyone, let alone from like my logic tells me, let alone a kid who's, 15 years younger than me. My grandma taught me gratitude, so I know I had it before he was alive. And so, uh, but I had this need to be offended.
Yeah.
And I am a work in progress. I am on the
Mm,
potter's wheel. I have great
mm,
faith. I am loved. I
mm,
remember telling myself, I don't hate my mom. I don't hate my dad. I don't hate my best friend. And I certainly don't hate my wife. I
mm,
hate myself. And
mm,
I'm going to start working on myself,
mm,
and I'm going to start loving myself,
mm,
and I'm going to start giving to myself so I can give more, be given more, receive more, and ask for more than more. So I can give more than more and be given more than more, receive more than more, and ask for more than more. And here I am 18 years later, and I went from being a victim
yeah.
to a world of just enough for me, buying shit I didn't need to impress people I didn't like. And then now I live in the world of more than enough of everything for everyone. And I
Mm,
spend minutes and moments, not days, weeks, months, and years.
yeah.
I spend minutes and moments interfering with my potential,
Mm,
interfering with my God. And that's where I live. That's where I'm going to increase and improve. And
mm,
you bring out the best in me. And anytime, anywhere, anything I can do for you, your community, like I said, I'll pay for my book, I'll pay for shipping, I'll sign it. Email me directly, david@dmeltzer.com. And Alana, let's do more stuff together. You're a beautiful soul inside and
mm.
out.
Oh, thank you, David. Thank you. Again, dmeltzer.com/book so you can receive his generous gift. And just before we bid adieu, just drop into your heart, drop deeper into your hips, drop all the way in, and just allow the gift of his vibration, his truth, his humility, his power, his gentleness, his humor, his love to touch you. Mm. Thank you for touching our community, David. Humongous love until next time.
Till
Mm.
next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life.
I still think I need to wear these all the time. They're actually filled with cute little fingerprints of little kids, which is kind of cute. I kind of don't want to wash them off because it's so cute. So I hope that podcast rocked your world. I hope it expanded what you believe is possible for you. I hope it showed you from the words, the message, the stories, but also his energy, that the roots create the shoots. That the deeper you go into your darkness, your shadows, your unresolved issues, and you go in bravely, courageously with your heart open, the divine is there. God is there. Your soul is there. Your higher self is there. It's like not fun until it is. To really face our humanity. I think the more successful David gets, the more humble he gets. Isn't that wild? He has more to give. He has so much to give from the overflow, and he's just so damn humble and grateful and exuberant and alive and generous. He's a real inspiration for me to keep going as I restructure how I choose to give my love, my light. So as we complete this podcast, please get his book. He's so generous, he'll ship it right to you. Please take a moment when this podcast is done to really feel into what piece was it that really struck a chord, could even have triggered you, could have maybe shed a tear, could have inspired you. Don't just let it just be over and then move on. Like, take an action, even if it's a small action. One new action a day, that's 365 actions by the end of the year. There's going to be a different result. Something's going to break through. And I really believe we both believe, it's not even a belief, it's a knowing that our frequency and vibration changes when we take these small aligned actions every single day. The field, God, the divine, is conscious. It's aware. It's like a figure 8 loop all the time, feeding us back like experiences and peoples and systems and structures and events that are aligned with our vibration. We're in charge of that. We're not necessarily in charge of what's going to happen next, which I love, because then it wouldn't be a mystery. I mean, I know sometimes we want to know what's going to happen, but then there would be no surprises. So, but we do know that it will be a vibrational match. So even though we might not know exactly what's going to happen, we can pretty much guarantee that if we continue on this path of self-ownership, leaning into our shadows, transforming them into superpowers, listening to our truth, giving from our open heart, being willing to do the work and give the gifts that we're here to give, even if people don't always agree with us. You know, our people, we're not here to serve everybody, we're here to serve our people. Just as long as we're giving from our authenticity and we're doing so from generosity, we're good. We're living our purpose. And I think that's another quality that I respect about David. There's not a bravado unapologeticness, but a humble living without apology. Like, he's big energy, and it's big love, and it's big care, and it's big impact, and it's big generosity, and it's big gratitude. And he inspires me to be my fullest shining self, to wear my funny glasses with the little fingerprints on it. We got one life to live, people. Let's give it all. Let's give our deepest, truest self to the world and enjoy ourselves as we do it. So if I can support you in being that sense of living without apology, healing heartbreak, showing up again, even if it's awkward, even if we don't know what's going to happen, doesn't matter, I got you. And we can be in this together, and I have an extraordinary community that I coach in, privately, group, retreats, PSIs, all the different ways to get to the root of it all, to set you free. It would be such an honor and privilege. And you can register for what's called an Intimacy Breakthrough Experience Call. It's how we can be together one-on-one. It's how we can talk about what really matters. There's an application, so I know what's going on, so that when we dive into that call, I don't have to ask a lot of questions. We get right to the blind spot, right to the root of the matter, so we can change it. And I'll invite you into the program that's the perfect fit to get you the results you want in a community that is some of the most amazing people. I got shivers as I think about them. Amazing people I have ever met on this planet. And I would love you to be one of them. All right, all my love. Thank you again so much, David. Until we have the chance to meet a person, hopefully one day very soon. Thank you all. Much love.